Hello. Thank you for your interest in watching the video. This is Celebrity News Today 247. A humble gentleman who grazes himself will fight one by one. Gentleman is the ideal personality standard in people's hearts. To be a kind person is the first criterion of a gentleman. First of all, we know that the power of a gentleman begins with his personality and heart. His heart is complete and prosperous. He first repaired his self-cultivation, and then showed a kind of unhurried demeanor. In ancient times, Shaman Yu once asked Confucius, "Who can be called a gentleman?" Confucius replied, "A gentleman is not worried or afraid." Shaman Yu asked again, "Can you be called a gentleman without worry or fear?" Confucius said, "Return to self-examination, no guilt. Of course there is nothing to worry about." We translate Confucius' meaning into plain and easy to understand words: don't do anything wrong, and knock on the door in the middle of the night. One can reflect on one's own behavior without regret or guilt. This is the standard of personality as a gentleman. The sage Confucius is defined as a gentleman as, gentlemen in Taoist 3, the benevolent are not worried, the wise are not confused, and the brave are not afraid. What is the benevolent is not worried? A person has a big heart of benevolence and righteousness, and his heart is extremely kind and generous. Therefore, he can ignore many details and ignore the small gains and losses. Only in this way can a person truly achieve inner peace and calmness. Zhan basically achieved the benevolent is not worried. From the magnanimity that he has shown to ignore the trivial matters, we can see how broad his mind is. He can handle affairs with a calm and responsible sense of responsibility in matters that ordinary people can't accept and let go of, which is already a more profound interpretation of the feeling of the benevolent is not worried. What is the wise man is not confused. We can't control the external world, only make the inner choice more powerful. When we understand how to choose, then those troubles will be gone. This is the wise man is not confused. We observe from Xiao's body that he can discern which is more important in choosing various complicated things. Through the endorsement products he chooses, we can tell everyone more intuitively how strong his inner choice is. In product selection, he never puts money as the top priority, but puts quality and quality as the top priority. After ensuring quality and quality, he chooses product endorsements according to the needs of the public. That is, he chooses product endorsements not to pay attention to money but to the public. The word of mouth is dominated by him. This is his knowledge is not confused. What is the brave are not afraid? We often say, when the two meet, the brave wins. When the heart is brave enough and open enough, there is a force to move forward courageously and not to be afraid. As everyone knows, last year's unprecedented cyber violence against Zhan was really called the campaign, like cyber violence. The central point of this cyber violence was to put Zhan to death. Luo weaving a bunch of unwarranted charges, put Zhan and his fan group's delusions completely at community death, and the hundreds of families ended. The scene was really spectacular, which made people shudder. In that horrible day, Zhan and his fans have no right to sue, and can only be slaughtered. Zhan, a very good and clean boy without any black spots, is framed, insulted, and abused in the violence of these thugs. Being tortured not only means that I have been tortured and insulted by all kinds of insults, but also that I have been maliciously cursed and abused with my family. Even the dead old man cannot rest in peace. I can imagine how this is a persecution that exterminates humanity. According to common sense, after suffering such a devastating disaster, it is difficult for ordinary people to stand up again, but why can Zhan go against the current? Not only did he not sink in this unprecedented online riot, but he became more popular. This is his own excellence and cleanliness that makes him stand upright in the storm. Zhan has a kind of a festival for the brave. He is not as courageous as ordinary people. He can endure temporary humiliation. This is because he has a kind of self-confidence and calmness under rational restraint in his heart. It is also because he has a broad mind and lofty mind. Ambition. Zhan can come here without being surprised, and without being angry for no reason. To do this, we must be a well-trained moral gentleman. We cannot offend others, but when others have no reason to offend when we are, can we not be angry? But Zhan did it, which is why I call Zhan a gentleman. After Zhan passed the major cyber violence incident last year, he became more or less words and worries, and little regrets, and he was cautious in his words and deeds in everything. When the situation is getting better, he is more self-disciplined with a gentleman without arrogance. He does not complain about others, he advocates learning, and his learning is for the sake of the soul. He wants to make himself a more knowledgeable, educated, and loyal person. He knows that if he wants to settle down in society, Learning is a rigid principle, and the purpose of learning is to complete the establishment and promotion of his own role. He can calm down and enter the world of drama at the time of the greatest fire, go to further studies, to learn, to humbly ask his predecessors, looking at the entire entertainment industry, how many people cannot be tired of fame and fortune at the hottest time, and choose the most better other worlds and devote yourself to learning, honing and improving yourself. Look at the real faces that have not yet reached the hot level, one by one, they are hot, tied up with hype, and they will use some disgusting and obscene means in order to fire. All kinds of buying, flattering, praising, trying to create all kinds of topics, bundling hype in order to increase the poor familiarity. Compared with these incompetent generations, Xiao Zhan is really a clear stream in the entertainment circle. At the time of the fire, he was not arrogantly making money and doing a temporary mudslide, but he was self-cultivation and respected, to expand himself to a higher level, to create a broader world, and to be a veritable good actor. Xiao Zhan, this is how a young actor grows up. On this seemingly flower-filled road, although it is also full of thorns and roughness, Xiao Zhan, with a strong will and a tenacious fighting spirit, step by step towards the path he set for himself. Xiao Zhan, Mocho has no confidant, no one in the world knows the king. Xiao Zhan, a real gentleman with modesty. A humble gentleman, humble to shepherd, and humanity humble to shepherd. Tomorrow is when Xiao Zhan's Wuhan premiere drama Like a Dream. Here, I wish Xiao Zhan one by one. The premiere will be successful. Don't forget to like on the channel and press the subscribe button to receive notifications from the latest video. Thank you. And I'm Celebrity News Today 247.